Welcome to this week's hair transplant progress update video. My name is Richard and I'm currently on week 28 after my hair transplant, which was done in October 2019 in Turkey, Istanbul. So as you can see this week, for me, I don't really notice that much change. I guess it has grown a little bit. In terms of thickness, I think it's pretty much staying the same. I'm starting to think that it's probably not going to thicken up any more than it already has. As in, I don't think that new hairs are going to grow out, and the only thickness that I'm going to see is going to be purely from the length of the hair rather than, you know, the density from more new hairs growing. But we'll see that, you know, as time passes and as more months go by towards the final recovery period, which is going to be, I guess, October 2020. So if we have a quick close-up at the hairline, this is what it looks like. I can kind of get a slight parting if I want to brush it out sort of along here, and it does work out kind of okay for now, and I guess it's going to be slightly better once it grows a bit longer. I did give myself last week a slight haircut. I didn't cut anything off the top, but I just sort of trimmed the sides with clippers, and actually it was surprisingly easy to do. I was convinced I was going to completely mess everything up and I'm going to end up giving myself a crew cut and just going like, you know, number 2 all over, or number 3. But in the end, it actually came out okay. Given that I don't really need to go out while we're in the lockdown, I don't really mind. It does make it look a little bit tidier, and it actually makes the top look a little bit thicker because the sides are cut shorter. So this week, actually, I wanted to talk about a topic that somebody brought up, and it's not really that straightforward without me sounding a bit irresponsible, but so this week I wanted to talk about why I chose to get my hair transplant done at the clinic where I had it done in Turkey, rather than using an alternative, for example, in UK or in US or any other country, really. So hair transplant has always been a bit of a weird topic for me, because it was one of those that I didn't really want to admit that I wanted to, you know, to get it done, that my hair was really that bad that it needed a hair transplant. And also it was one of those that I didn't want people to judge me because I've done a hair transplant. People always think of hair transplants a little bit, you know, a little bit funny, because the initial thought is that, you know, you're really vain and you're really concerned about how you look, and as a bloke you shouldn't really care too much about how you look. So those are like the initial things that people think when you tell them that you've done a hair transplant. So it was always one of these things where I was a bit concerned, and I didn't really want to get it done a lot because of those reasons. I didn't really want to be judged by other people of, you know, why I got it done and why didn't I just leave it, why didn't I just cut my hair. But yeah, so for years I was just not entertaining the idea of having a hair transplant because of those reasons. So, but I did try a hair treatment using, you know, some sort of weird shampoos and oils and all sorts of things, which didn't really work. And then I kind of gave up with the idea of restoring my hair. I always thought that like hair transplant surgery is going to be really complicated, and, you know, it's going to be hard to book, and it's going to be hard to find the right clinic. So I didn't really look into it. And it was at the point where one of my friends, one of my neighbors, had his done together with his son, because his son was really young. I think he was in his, you know, late 20s, and he had already gone completely bald on top. So he wanted to get a hair transplant. So he went together with his dad to Turkey, Istanbul, and they got it done together. So when he came back, I ran into him and I was chatting to him, and I said, "Hey, you look like you got a new haircut, it's really short." And he said, no, I had my hair transplant done. And he said, like, I had it done, you know, I think it was a couple of months. So he was just on the, you know, I guess on the recovery bit where the hair was starting to grow out a little bit. And he's got, he's Indian, so he's got dark, thick hair naturally. So the transplanted hair was looking really, really good. So he was talking to me, and he kind of had a look at my donor area and said, look, you know, you should really go and get it done while your donor area is still healthy. So and so and so and so. So we got talking, and I said, you know what, send me the details over, I'll have a look. And obviously once he sent over the details, from then on it was really easy because everything was on WhatsApp. Also I had kind of social proof that the clinic that he went to seemed okay, as in, you know, they didn't do a bad job on him. His results seemed to be quite good at the time. So I had some sort of comforting that, you know, this clinic's not going to rip me off and it's not going to leave me with like permanent scarring and stuff. And yeah, so really from there, it kind of evolved, and we got everything booked and just went ahead and got it done without really looking much into it, without really researching too much. And I guess if I was to do it again, I probably wouldn't go to the same clinic, and I would have probably researched it a little bit more. I might have ended up at the same clinic. I don't think the clinic I went to was bad, but I think I would have gone with a DHI option rather than a FEW. For those of you who don't know the difference, so FEW is where they poke holes with a scalpel or a little special knife in the transplant area, and then they use like these tweezers to by hand implant follicles into the bits that they've opened up. Whereas DHI method is they use a special implanter pen, and using this special implanter tool, they can actually angle the hairs, and they have basically more control over where they implant the hair. I'm sure there's other benefits to it as well, but those are the kind of like the key things that I've picked up about it. So I think if I was gonna get it done again, I would have probably still chosen Turkey to get mine done, purely because of the costs. But DHI would have been probably my preferred method, because I think you will get a better result. I don't know whether it uses up the donor area any differently than FEW, but from what I've seen, I like the results better on DHI. So that would have been one change that I would have made if I had a choice to redo it. Otherwise, in terms of location, so I guess from everything else, from what people say about clinics and stuff, Turkey is a lot cheaper than most of other places, at least historically it used to be. Not because they're, you know, cheap and they do a bad job, but because it's basically cheaper labor. The procedure is the same. It's just cheaper labor, and therefore the whole process becomes cheaper. Historically, it used to be like, you know, you'd get it done for a couple of grand in Turkey, or you can get it done for about 10 grand in UK, or it will be like 20 grand plus if you go to US or Canada. Things have obviously changed over time, and now prices are different everywhere. So I would have done, I think, a lot more research now and decided where to pick my clinic. So that would have been, those would have been the differences that I would have made if I had the choice to do it again. And those are the reasons why I chose my particular clinic and why I chose to get it done the way I got it done. So the reasons for me choosing my clinic or the method for transplant are not very good ones, because purely I didn't do enough research when I had my hair transplant done. So this is why hopefully for you guys who are watching this video and think about getting a hair transplant done, this will hopefully encourage you to do a bit more research and decide what kind of transplant you want to get done, rather than just being impulsive and going ahead and doing it anyway, you know, choosing basically the first clinic that you know. So I'm quite an impulsive person. I do tend to just go with my gut a lot of the times. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. For this case, I don't know. I mean, I'm reasonably happy with my results. I know I've had quite a few comments saying that the way they've done my hairline is not that good because my forehead is big, but naturally my forehead is big anyway. And I think the problem is if they would have lowered it and done it like up to here, right, it just wouldn't look right on me, because that's not naturally my hairline. My natural hairline is very, very high. Again, also if they would have done my temples like up to here, I think it would look weird, because that's not my natural hairline. I've never had like my temples going up to here. So it's not where it's receded, it's not being done. It's just naturally how my hair grows. But yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to cover for this week. Again, just a quick close-up. As you can see, everything is still looking healthy. It's still growing the same way as it was. We'll see if it thickens up over time. It's definitely getting longer, and it feels and looks thicker because of the length. But we'll see. Maybe, I mean, it's still now, what, month 6? We've still got another 6 months to go. We'll see where it goes from there. Will it get thicker? No idea. I know a lot of people say, no, that's it for density, but let's see what happens in another 6 months, whether it progresses or not. But yeah, that is about it for this week. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. Please like this video. If you haven't done so yet, please click on the subscribe button below and enable bell notifications so that you don't miss out on any future content that I post. If you have any thoughts or comments, or you want me to cover a particular topic, please use the comment box below and I'll do my best to answer any of your questions that you have. And yeah, that's it for today. That's it for this week. I will see you guys next week. Bye for now.